Well, welcome everybody. Tonight we're going to go over the program Success Together. It is being offered to everybody on August 25th, which is going to be at 7:30 Eastern Standard Time for 10 weeks, or August 28th, which is a Wednesday morning that's going to start at 10 o'clock. So what about Success Together? What is the program? The program actually is to create affluent abundance in your life. And how are we going to do that? Well, creating a safe environment to come together 10 weeks, 10 consecutive weeks, we come together and we take the book Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. We're going to divide that book into 10 weeks. And through the book, it has different programs or different wealth principles that will stir up things in you, will bring things more aware to you. And what we do is we share what we've read that week, we talk about it, we support each other, and also then we each go around as I facilitate using the emotion code and the body code to find out where could this be an inherited program, a belief? Could this be something from your childhood? You know, it's been understood that 70% of who we are today has already been established by 7 years old. Well, many of us that are on this call tonight have realized that we don't remember a lot back then, but it has sure played a part in us, and we want to show up in a new way. We want to show up in our greatest potential. And this is what the program is designed to help with. Releasing old beliefs, patterns, eliminate paradigms, get in touch with that child within us to play, enjoy life, and be courageous. Step out, knowing that fear is probably going to be there, but you have a deeper why, you have a deeper purpose, and to really connect with that. So rather than going on more with what the program is, I would love to share from each one of you. What is your name? You know, what you received, the nugget from it. And what about Success Together would you like to share with somebody else? Nancy, I'm going to have you go first.
Okay, happy to go first. Hi, my name's Nancy Hart. I first experienced Success Together with Ruth and some of the other great participants on this call. Ruthie, when was our class? Was it January? Renee, when was our class?
January.
It was January. What I found incredibly impactful about it was these are many of the principles that the book Ruth Chooses to Teach from Harbecker we've heard of before. But there's a combination that she brings, and it's something that's unique to her, the interpretation of the work itself and the exercises he provides, combined with the workbook that Ruth has brought forth. That's not only an emphasis of Ecker's work, but it's really thinking about what's going on internally for each and every one of us. She has an opportunity to offer us some additional, calls it the watering hole, which I think you'll enjoy very much. You'll see that it's additional resources, additional ways of thinking about things. But I think the real key here for the participants is when Ruth brings in her skills as a practitioner in the emotion code and the body code, because it's the practical, pragmatic tools that Ecker brings along with a philosophical bend, and Ruth's addition of bringing motion code and body code together that really have a much greater potential to unlock what's going on inside each and every one of us. I know that was my experience. Mm-hmm. I think the 10-week program, and there are others on this call who are with me in my particular class, found that being in that kind of safe cocoon, if you will, we came in as strangers and met each other as supportive partners. So I think in a nutshell, it's the work, Ruth's guidance through that, her interpretation of it, and then bringing her experience and the emotion code, the body code to really unlock it at a different level, I think are the biggest skills and the biggest, that it was a experience for me because of those components.
My name's Wendy Kimball. I took it twice. The first time probably was about 4 or 5 years ago. I'm not sure exactly when. But I found out that I was kind of a tough nut to crack. So I realized how many limiting beliefs I had around money. And a lot of them they stem back to my parents, but mostly to my dad. He loves to hug money and hoard it and hold on to it. And so I had a very different idea about money, and I thought of money as a security, but security in that you had to hold tight to it. And through this program, I realized that with money, there's freedom attached to that. And for me, having gone through it twice, by the time I was working through it the second time, I had decided that I was going to take a career break. I had worked at the same government job for probably 23 years, and realized that I had other things calling me. And I ended up having a 6-month career break. Initially, that was supposed to just be I was going to leave my job, retire early. And as soon as I put in my notice, my boss came to me and said, "We'd love to give you an option to come back after the 6 months." And I was like, when does that happen, in local government? So for me, this book, there's a lot of other nuggets for me, and maybe we'll get into them later, but, worthiness around money. Was I worthy of the money? There's a whole series of things. And I was actually getting to the point where I was thinking, man, I'd like to take the class again. So I'm excited to hear that it's coming up in August. But there's plenty of nuggets for anybody that's thinking about the class. It's an easy yes, take it, because for me it started kind of the ball rolling, and it basically changed my life in a very positive way. So.
I was enjoying your travels on Facebook. So.
Oh yes. Yeah. So I went I went all over Thailand, and I went to all over. I went everywhere. So it was I did a lot of volunteer work. So it was an amazing thing. And once I realized that money could bring freedom and travel and volunteering, it really has made a big difference for me.
And still continue to grow. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome. Jerry.
So I'm Jerry Brisbane Crooks, and let's see, Ruthie and I have been together for so long. This is so funny because, Ruthie, I think I was a part of your very first class, right?
Yes, you were.
The very first group. So when it comes to time, I'm like, gee, was that 10 years ago, 20? I can't remember. But it seems like we've been together forever because it is an ongoing journey. And it would be nice if you could go through the emotional code process and just get very cleared with the emotions, so that my testimony about it is that you never, you hear a lot of different things. So, I wouldn't have been shocked to hear that emotions were tied to our pain and what we manifest and experience in life. I wouldn't have been shocked, but I hadn't heard that, just like they don't teach you about finance in high school or school, that they don't teach you about how emotions are so connected to what you experience. And so I call Ruth my angel. So it was just such a wonderful opportunity to experience not only that first group, but also a number of the emotion code classes. And I would say the first thing that I experienced, and this was before I actually went to any classes, is that we connected, and I was telling you about sciatic pain. And you were in a different city, and because we have such a close kindred spirit, you called me and said, "What is going on with you, Jerry?" And I said, "I can't move. I'm frozen." I was thinking about you, wanted to call you, but this sciatic is so, it was so painful that I couldn't even move to get to the phone to call Ruth, and she felt me. I cried out to her, and she felt me. So I was like, "Oh, gee, Ruthie, wherever you are, hear my humble cry." And so And so with the session that I had, within, I would say, 10 minutes, no more than 15 minutes, I mean, because this sciatic could stay as long as like 1 to 2 weeks. Within minutes, you know, after doing the emotional clearing and the prayer and God's work through Ruth, the pain was gone. I mean, 100% gone. So, so I would say it's nothing like being in that kind of excruciating pain and having it to go, and then, you know, being able to work more with Ruth and get clarity about my passion and my purpose, so that I could be very clear about what it is I'm to do to be able to help others, so that they can, you know, we always talk, Ruth, about freedom and joy. So I just feel like, you know, kindred spirits, you know, come together and support one another so that we can do more to support each other. But I would say that would be the biggest takeaway that, you know, that I initially experienced, you know, aside of that initial harsh pain, from the pain, and once that was cleared, and doing the work of clearing and settling all the emotions and all the attachments and all the resistance that I had to things and all that emotional stuff out of the way, the clarity just makes the colors brighter, and it makes living, you know, just gives you a whole nother feeling about once you open your eyes in the morning, and a perspective on life, so that it's just like it's energizing. So I'm grateful for you, Ruthie, and I will never, you know, I'll never forget that connection we made, and you know, I'll always cherish our sisterhood. So I want to be able to share with anyone that is having any doubt about, you know, what the program is and how it can help, is to say that, you know, of course, you'll never know genuine joy and freedom unless you have clarity, unless, you know, you can really be free of the pain. And once you are, you know, life becomes so much sweeter, and that's one said to me, so much more delicious when you can live it in clarity and be able to use your purpose and share with the world. So that's why we're here. And if there's anything that's blocking that, then your life is not being lived, if that makes any sense.
You know, you brought up something, Jerry, and thank you. There was a recent quote, and it's from, it was actually mentioned in Dare to Lead by Brene Brown. And it's actually a quote of Father Richard Rohr. And it's, pain that is not transformed is transmitted. And, you know, it's going to show up some way. And another story, Jerry, you're my little poster child. But
yes, I am.
when
you allowed me to be your poster child.
When you went to the dentist, she refused. She had such phobias about going to the dentist to get her wisdom teeth out. And do you want to finish the story?
Oh, you all have no idea. 25, no, probably more than that. Almost 30 years I put off this wisdom, getting a wisdom tooth taken out.
Finding the word wisdom around this.
Wisdom, yeah. First of all, I was thinking, like, I can't. It's all my wisdom. Once it goes, I won't have any wisdom. But it had grown up so far, I could barely close my mouth all the way, because it had just grown down below the teeth line. And I was just like, what's the word, Ruth? You probably know the emotion. You probably remember the emotion, because it was a very, you know, all of the fear, the paranoia that, you know. But anyway, after that session, 2 days later, that wisdom tooth was gone, and I was able to close my mouth. And
she was awake during the procedure, right? Am I correct on that?
Everybody thought I was crazy. They were saying, there's no way that you're awake during this procedure. He was actually on my chest pulling that tooth out, because that is just how, you know, how vicious it was. But because I was clear, the emotions were, the emotions were no longer there to control all of that, you know, anxiety. They just couldn't believe it. So, yeah, poster child for sure.
I love it. Awesome. Well, thank you, Jerry. Thank you.
Hi there.
Hi.
Well, Nancy said it beautifully, and I just have to say, anytime that you can spend an hour to an hour and a half with Ruth is extremely valuable. And her dedication to this work is, and to working for her higher connection and getting, because the work is based on being connected. The information comes through us, it's not of us. And Ruth has proved this over and over with her continued dedication to being connected to God and Source. And anytime that, every time we would do a class, we get to release something with the emotion code. And there was more than one occasion I was brought to tears with the depth and the honing and zeroing in on that exact thing that was blocking me. I've done the class twice. I think the last time was back in 2016. And we will come across similar things in our life because every person tends to have the same little bumps, but each time it's like a vortex. We spiral upward and we have more tools to address it. It's just like, there's just a little bit more of that left. And getting rid of the fear and moving into trust. I used to be petrified about having enough money to come in to pay the bills. And now it's, if there's something that has to be done, take a deep breath sometimes and allow it to come in, and it will come in. One of the things that I found, and when I first had found the abundance code when it was put out by Dr. Brad, I had somebody else do something on me as well, and they found 5 instances of blaming. That was in one session. And so when Harv Eckers talks about refraining from complaining, and listening to how people speak, it's refraining from that complaining for 24 hours and keeping that as a focus has really shifted so much. I don't go back to the book as much as I probably should, but it's there. It's on my shelf. It's
Maybe
right
have
there.
a reunion meeting. You know, let's go through.
Great. But I am on Harv Eckers' email list, and he's in a movie, and we get those little things to bring us forward as well. And I think that anybody that's going to be, and I am now certified as a body code practitioner. I got that at the end of May, beginning of June. And I'm doing the abundance program with some other people. And I think this is almost a gotta do before you really start working with other people. You got to get yourself clear so that you're not bringing up your stuff in there and getting it confused in their stuff. If you're clear on it, it makes it so much more helpful to everybody you're working with. And it's abundance of everything in life. It's not just about money. It's abundance of joy, fun, creativity, and it just changes your way of looking at life.
Finding out how amazing, wonderful, and unique you are.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. And we are all unique, aren't we? Thank you. Thank you. I love that, you know, because sometimes people will say, you know, oh, here it is again, the same problem. Well, the reality, it's not the same problem because that problem happened 10 years ago. But now you can face it. And with the emotion code and the body code, we find that we manage things differently. And one of the things is that a problem is going to be a problem until we say, well, this is the situation, let's find a solution. And you become willing and open. When you release that energy, when you release those paradigms, those old beliefs, you come from a place of going, nope, not going there, going here. Instead of a crisis, you've got the opportunity. And
Exactly.
I love that vortex. That was a great analogy. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
Hey, Miss Renee.
Hey everyone. I'll start by saying that I agree with what everybody has already said so beautifully, and I'll just add a few of my own comments. I was trying to take the class for 3, 4, 5 years, and it never was the right time because of personal circumstances. And in earlier this year, the January course, I was in a very vulnerable state with my health and other circumstances, financial and my mother's health, etc. But I knew it was the right time for me to do the class. And I told Ruth, I really, as much as financial is a big concern for me, that was not why I was taking the class. I was taking it for all of the reasons that I keep myself from moving forward in life, whether it's my health or my relationships, certainly financial, feeling connected back to myself. So I did tell her right up front that I might be the odd man out. I'm not doing this as the first, the first idea is for clarifying my financial goals or finding my passion or pursuing things like that. I just so sincerely wanted to remove the blocks that feed all of those areas.
Well, may I interject here? One of the phrases that we have in the book, and you went, oh, is how we do anything is how we do everything. So
Yes.
I like the fact that you're bringing this in, that, wealth is not only finances. It's balancing the pillars of our life. And
Exactly.
thank you. Thank you for saying
Yes.
that.
I actually, at that very time that I took the class, I really put finances on the back burner, although it needed to be on the side burner. And I did find that there were a few areas in the book that I took some issue to. You remember that? And
Oh, yeah.
and it was beautiful because I was so set that, I was offended almost by a few of those values that he brought up in the book. And Ruth, everything that has been said about you is so accurate and so much more. And Carolyn said it beautifully as well. It's your grace. It's your grace. I'm going to cry, but it's your godliness connected to God. I can't put it any other way. You're a nurse. You have that. It's who you are, who you radiate. Your level of caring, your depth of perception, your ability to just know. It's an honor to know you. I am so thrilled that I took the class. It built a foundation that I thought had been taken away from me and that I may never get back. You and the girls who were just beautiful on the course. It's that collective consciousness of our hearts working together. The sincerity of each one of us for the other person was so beautiful and powerful. And with your skills of the body code and the emotion code, to so graciously and gracefully find those places in us that needed transformation was so beautiful. There's a lot of healers out there, if I may call them healers. I find you to be exceptional, and from the day I met you over the phone, which I had a similar experience, that I felt the energy shift immediately, signed up for your class in Sarasota, and have loved you ever since. And I've already signed up for the August class because I can't think of another class going on and me not participating in it. I think you're the best, honey. I love you. I'm so grateful for the class, and I just look forward to more. You're special, Ruth, and you're just very, very special.
look at the mirror, baby, because I only shine with the, the joy of, and I actually have a phrase that I saw, and it says, don't cheat the world of your gifts. And that's Stephen Pressfield. But my addition to that, to find the joy of your gifts, share them with the world.
Beautiful.
So I hear what you're saying, but it's the joy of sharing love with each of you and your willingness to be open to receive. You see, how do they say the teacher can teach a lot of students, but if the student doesn't want to come up, it's like, lose ground. So it's a mutual admiration society. Thank you, honey. Thank you. And also an offer that for anybody that takes it over again, I have it at half price, in which I've offered you already. Half price as a thank you to keep evolving, keep moving forward. So thank you. Hey, Danny.
Hello.
Our token mail. And by the way, people from all around the world, as well as all races, all sects, all religions, everybody. So thank you, Denny, for being our token mail.
Ruthie, there's nothing token about Danny.
Oh, thank you. Oh, it's an honor to be here on this call with each of you and to talk about success together. And Ruth. Ruth Kent is a wonderful individual, as each of you have already said. She truly comes from her heart, and you feel that from her as you work with her, as you talk with her, as you do your one-on-one calls with her. She really wants you to succeed, and she makes it very, very easy for you to succeed because she loves you where you're at. She takes you where you're at, and she helps you realize that life is the way it is right now, but it doesn't have to be that way. You can choose to live so much better by letting go of the things that are keeping you stuck. And that's what she did for me. She helped me realize that life can be so much greener and happier and more joyful by letting go of your past, letting go of the things that I have told myself over and over and over again that are not true, and realizing that that I'm worth much more than I thought I was.
Being may I say, Denny, a giver, it was learning to receive. And I looked at the old mirror when I said, oh, I know Denny, I know where he's at, but having you move forward, what are some of those changes that you have seen in your life? And I'm going to ask each one of you to share one thing. What is something that you have has taken place, then you feel it's very much of the release, the progress, and you mentioned the one-on-ones. Thank you so much. Because we do not only the 10 weeks, but I do an individual one-on-one abundant breakthrough with you independently. So what is the one thing that you say, absolutely, this was not in place, and this has been because of my time with the course, with the learning, with showing up. So what came up for you, Denny?
I think the big thing that came up for me was living in my smallness and not owning my voice, having ideas of things that I wanted to do, but not acting on those ideas, not thinking that they were worth much. But as Ruth worked with me and as I have moved forward, I have realized that each idea that I have is not really my own idea. It's an idea that was given to me from God. That's how I feel about those ideas. And so when I say oh, I'm not going to do that, or I can't do that, then I'm saying that God can't do that. And so as I move forward and as I trust, and I think that's really what it was trusting in myself, then everything's possible. It opens up the doors for anything to happen and to really live in our greatness. So
Awesome.
thank you.
Awesome. Yes, and Denny's got a lot of things on his plate, and a father of 5,
6.
6. Oh, I forgot the little one. Yes, and you know, to hear you, we were talking beforehand. He structures family time, date time. He works, and he also is evolving into where he's moving into his own identity, his own growth. And that is in all areas, with his family, where to move, as well as, you know, multiple sources of income. You've done a great deal, Denny. So bravo to you. Bravo.
Thank you.
Nancy, back to you. What have you seen in your life? What have you stepped forward? What is some of the progress that you've seen?
Yeah.
We can
Yeah, there's a volume in there. It's kind of there are 2 or 3 things I think I'd love to just touch on.
Mm-hmm.
First, as I was looking through the workbook in preparation for this conversation, it strikes me how far I have progressed from when we were all together in January to where I am now, and what at times feels like the lives I have lived. Going through there, it was a transition, definitely a transitional period for me, and continues to be. It was peeling. What our program together did for me was continue to peel back the layers of the onion of being a human. Yeah, and you're getting down to all the good gooey stuff, the gooey metal. And it doesn't mean you're not going to, you know, occasionally reference some of the peripheral stuff, because there's always going to be something on the plate to the side. That's just the nature of being a human being and in the human suit. So it's almost difficult in a moment to kind of identify one single piece. But there are 2 things that have bubbled up as I've been listening to everybody tonight that really pointed me back. One was a very practical and pragmatic piece that came in our conversation about, and somebody just said it, about multiple streams of income. I think you were just referencing Denny. Mm-hmm. And what that might look like. And the concept, for me, there wasn't at home, and there's no blame on this, it's just, you know, land of fact. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a tremendous amount of education about the positive aspects of money. It was highly charged emotionally. Mm-hmm. Taking the charge off of that, being able to look at it, take it out of the body, and being able to look at income and multiple income streams, which is where I am in my career right now. Mm-hmm. And I addressed the idea of passive income. That was a whole new concept to me. What is that passive income thing? Oh, I'm thinking, what can we do with that? So that's a piece of it. And then it's the big picture of lots of movement and shifting energy out of my body that was no longer of use, to allow this transition, particularly in the vocational realm, which affects income, which affects my joy, which affects all kinds of things, right?
That's right.
There's no private good in the human person or all the way around. So there's that. There was the kind of the practical knowledge of thinking about how to use income and what kinds of income could come to us. And then there's something I just noticed in the workbook that I'd just like to quickly read. And it's called Comfortable Confidence. Everybody remember this? And it says, I want to draw your attention to the term comfortable confidence. Having comfortable confidence means that you are aligning with your higher self. And let's just say, for me personally, I don't know that I've ever been more conscious than I am of that at this time in my life. Mm-hmm. It says your higher self is in touch with faith and acts as your inner guide. Aligning with your higher self will give you the comfort and courage to grow with every step forward. And ain't that the truth?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a lovely reminder.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I love that term. It's, you know, when all chaos is going on, I know I can go to the room in my heart, and that's where my comfortable confidence is.
There you go.
And it just gives me courage. So
Whenever it's the reminder that we are, there's infinite intelligence by whatever name available to us at any point in time.
mm-hmm.
That we are never alone. And sometimes we humans, I think, forget. I know I certainly have.
Yeah,
That's one of the beauties of coming together in class and in communion that way.
absolutely.
Yeah, with such a powerful
Absolutely.
outcome. So
Excellent, excellent. Yeah, and when you hold intention, that's what you know. So bravo. Thank you. Hey, Wendy girl.
Hey.
So besides your travel, what progress, what would you like to share? And
Sure. So it was interesting along my travel during that same time frame. I knew I was having a calling towards helping others. I'd had jobs in the past where I'd helped others, and the job I have now doesn't really provide that for me. So so I wanted to kind of step out and explore some things. And so just in the last year, I have become a certified professional coach. Yes. And I am probably within a month of being it's called a TRE provider. It's tension and trauma release exercises.
mm-hmm.
So you work with folks that have stress, tension, trauma, and help them release it. You know, similar to what you do in a different way through their body and through shaking, and it's pretty amazing. So I have those two things going on. I have been taking a major class on real estate as far as investing. I too picked up this passive income little nugget that was in the book, and I was like, yeah, why am I working, like I'm working for an hourly wage when I could have my money working for me. So so about 3 days ago, I got the keys to an office space. Like 3 days ago. So I have the keys to an office. Yay! And I will continue to work till the end of the calendar year at my current job, but I am kind of transitioning over to being an entrepreneur for the first time ever. So
Wow.
yeah, so that's major for me.
That is exciting. I'm
Yes.
so proud of all of you. Miss Carolyn, thank you, Wendy.
You're welcome.
I can't remember if I went Jerry and Carolyn, but Carolyn.
Well, what I had wanted to become a body code practitioner for a long time, but I was using the body. I had became an emotion code practitioner in 2014, and then I went to one of Dr. Brad's presentations in Vermont, picked up the body code, and I was using it ever since. And I thought it was going pretty well. But Ruth was, why don't you just go ahead and get certified? And it took me a little while, but I finally took the leap, and I kept being concerned about how much it was going to cost me to do it, blah, blah, blah. Well, anyway, I worked it out, and going through that certification program it really ramped up what I could do, and it goes back to what we did in class. And now I'm working to make a transition from total body work to about half and half, because I can take this with me and do the work anywhere I go.
Oh, that's awesome to hear. Yeah.
So, yeah.
That means you can come to Asheville and play too. Yes.
I do intend to do that. At some point in time, I will be moving to the mountains. I just know that that's going to happen, and it's probably going to be North Carolina, maybe closer to Boone. But at some point in time, I will be in the mountains.
They're beautiful.
Yes,
But-
they are. And I know how to, I can put the pedal to the metal and get to your house. I know where you live.
That's right. That's right.
So looking forward to spending more time with you.
Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Progress. And I could see the evolution evolving for you as you were going through that program. Yeah. Thank you, Carolyn. Jerry?
Hi there. Hi there.
Now you got a lot to do, don't you?
So your poster child is speaking. Let me see here. You know, I think the biggest thing, and you know, there were so many layers. I don't know how many sessions we had to have, but you finally got through to them all. Unworthiness. You know, how we go through this and we put everybody first, or that self-sabotaging thing and the self-doubt, and you know, or you creating something, but then it shows up and you go, I can't believe it's here, and you're almost scared away. But I just feel like that those layers of unworthiness you help me to free myself from, or God working through you freed me from that. It has allowed the love to flow, the joy to flow, the peace, you know, and we won't even talk about prosperity and money because that's just not, I mean, it's not even an issue anymore. But you know, there was a time where it's like, oh, that's too much, oh, that can't afford that, or when my ship comes in and all of that. But just being in the flow and out of, you know, getting rid of all of those layers of unworthiness really allows you to, you know, because you can't, how in reality, now that I'm there with those layers are gone, how could we give and expect something greater for someone else if we can experience it ourselves? How can we even know that that's greater for them if we can't experience that greatness for ourselves? So that has truly been a huge, amazing, wonderful gift, in addition to all the other gifts.
Now, when I met Jerry, she started a school, and that is still part of your life and soon to be a memory. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, 28 years, going on 28 years, a total of 38 years in education. So, yeah, it's time for a new season. So that new season will allow me to do even greater works with helping people once they finish working with Ruth to really experience what it is that their heart and souls desire, not so much of fulfilling and living someone else's mission, but to be able to help our world by being who they are and being authentic in their mission, if that makes any sense.
Well, and you recently became Charlotte TWA, and you want to share what that is?
Yes, TWA is the Women's Advantage, and actually the founder of the group herself sold several businesses for multi-million dollars. And what she did, once she was able to sell those businesses, her thought was, how dare I not help other women to create their own businesses, raise them to the $1 million level, and be in a position to sell them and be able to be prosperous and give back. So it's not just about doing this for yourself, but doing it as a role model and helping others to do the same. So as the chairperson of these forums, that will be the goal, is to help women to clearly, it's called the Women's Advantage, to clearly define what they want in their business or as a business, take it to the $1 million level, and open, you know, numerous $1 million businesses or sell them, however the case may be, but to be able to experience those levels in an effort to be able to help other women to do that. So millions of millionaires by 2020. That's the goal. And you've actually gone through the program yourself, right, Ruth?
I actually have gone through it, and the book is fabulous. It also gives you many, many tools to work with, and it's the Woman Advantage. Mary, I don't say her last name right.
Contando.
Contango. You want to spell it so that?
Oh,
if you wanna-
Contando, Cantando.
So
Contando.
yeah, it's a wonderful book. It's got like tools and things in it. It's a good book.
Oh, yeah. A great workbook. Yeah.
And, also, Jerry does joy coaching, and if you're wanting to zone in on your personal mission, Jerry's another individual that will really listen to your heart, help your words, and help you hear what your heart is saying to you. So.
Yeah, and that joy is such a healing thing, and this is like a part of that freedom that the emotional code has allowed me to experience. Is that joy has been so prevalent. So like we say we want to be more loving, more peaceful, but for me it's just like the season of joy. And for me the acronym is joyous living, obeying your spirit, yes to your purpose. And another part of that purpose is doing these joy journeys to South Africa, which Ruth, I've lost count of the number of times you've gone to South Africa with me, but that has been another freeing, enjoying things that we deserve, but at the same time being able to connect with other kindred spirits that are there to relax, recharge, and have a wonderful time. So hopefully we'll be able to do some more of those South African journeys.
We're talking, aren't we?
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Renee?
Yes, well, for me, the biggest thing for me is that I am living much, much, much more in the present. I'm just living in my day.
Mm-hmm.
And prior to this abyss that I found myself in for the last few years, I loved many of the things I was doing. I just loved it. It was wonderful. And then I hit this abyss and didn't know who I was, where I was going, clinging to the past, longing for the past, projecting with fear into the future. And what you gave me, the class gave me, the beautiful people, Nancy included in our group, gave me was that stability again, and to unhook from my past, because that was great then. I was who I was supposed to be then, not fully developed, but I fit in what I was doing. And I was able to let go of the longing of the past and the fear of the projection. What do I do now? What do I do now?
Mm-hmm.
So that is just, immeasurable to me, to just let myself be in peace, that right now I'm caretaking for my mom, I'm caretaking for myself, and I don't know what tomorrow will bring. I will look forward to it when it comes. I am going to be an open receiver, and it just helped me get to that place of letting it come to me rather than me clutching on. Is it this? Is it this? Should I be doing this? Exhausting, stressful, all of the above. So,
it's so refreshing to hear you know that this is a space and time, and you're doing the right thing. That comfortable confidence, that deeper knowing again. But also, at the same time, you also were, like open to dreams and possibilities, and you got a little excited about dreaming again. Where dreaming before was almost painful for you.
Yes.
And so I applaud you for, what I'm hearing you say is honoring and respecting yourself for who you are now and who you can become.
Yes, absolutely. Beautifully said. Thank you, and thank you.
Bravo. Well, Denny, do you have any more? I know you kind of said a few things and I shared some for you. Do you have any last words that you would like to share?
I think most of all is just to kind of reiterate the point of this is more than just financial success. This is success in all aspects of your life. Successful life with your children, successful life with your grandchildren, successful, it's setting you up to be successful in all aspects of your life. And so if you're wanting success and you want to be successful at everything that you do, then you deserve to be part of this course and go through this course with Ruth.
Wow. That's a perfect way to say thank you to all of you. And thank you for also holding the light for all, if you want to go through the course again, and for those that are going to come to the course. Thank you for holding them in your love and light as well. So thank you for this time. Blessings to you all and continued success. Bye-bye.